Yeah,
That's it.
run on. Well, something that I've shared with this group, I shared with Jay and Dean, and I think that you guys are starting to use this. I want to share with everybody else. So the book that I shared with you called Rebooting Your Brain. The company that guy works for is called Too Logical, and so I went to their website and I got some information. I got access to some of their information. I'm listening to some audios that are just really phenomenally good. And then I would have already bought you this other book, but I can't get it in print anywhere. I've had to buy two of them like randomly. One was from like a used dealer and one was from a eBay seller. And so I'm trying to get a hold of the company. So I'm like, dude, I want more copies of this book because this book is actually, I think, better than and more applicable to what we do than Rebooting Your Brain, although Rebooting Your Brain is kind of like a psycho-cybernetics type of book. But it's funny, I opened up right to the page. Some of the stuff that I'm getting feedback on, and I share this a little bit with everybody in the sales meeting in the state of the company yesterday, was some of what they teach in here is that there's for everything that we try to do, we either win or we learn. And you don't fail. You either win or you learn. And you don't learn anything when you win, by the way. But you learn when you don't succeed. You learn something, and that's how you get better at life. And when it comes to fundamentals and best practices that you need to master what you do in this business, what he teaches to ask yourself three questions after everything that you have, so like Giuseppe just went on a sales call with a realtor, and even if you have a good outcome, what they recommend on a regular basis, if you want to become lethal at your craft and constantly improve, you ask yourself these three questions. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? And what will I do differently next time? You think about that Chris, you sent me an email the other day about a file that you had and you asked yourself those questions. And I think there's so much opportunity to get better. So what did I do wrong? What did I do right first? What did I do wrong? And even if you completely blew it, you've got something that you did right, like you made the call, right? Like you went on the appointment, like you got the appointment with the realtor. So you've got to give yourself that feedback. And what they teach in here is that all feedback is the breakfast of champions. In other words, without the feedback, you can't get better. And so, but we all get feedback in what we're doing. But are we really learning from it? Are really taking the time to get better at what we do and the craft that we have? So I was talking to Casey about this yesterday. I've got a whole series of audio, like 10, I think there's 10 audio sessions. They're all like an hour long series of an interview with Joseph Gianni, is the guy that wrote that book Swagger. And he's the head of that company. He's the one who started Too Logical. And so I'm just learning more about the company and what they offer. And there's a series of videos or audios. They're just audio. I'm going to try to figure out a way. I was able to download them, and I'm trying to figure out a way put them in YouTube or something so that you can easily, it's hard to manage the videos in the app that they're in, and because they're just audio files. It's all they are. So you can't save where you are and come back to it. Like a lot of times it'll just restart and you have to listen to each one of them is like about an hour long. You can listen to them at 1.5 speed. I've been doing that all the time now when I'm listening to podcasts and YouTube videos and everything else. I've set them all, like I'm getting to where my brain's like, I'm hearing everything at 1.5 speed and really spending, less time on them. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to share all of that audio stuff, but I just wanted to share that today and look for opportunities to apply that mindset to what you're doing every day of what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What can I do better next time? And there's an opportunity for improvement every single day. So it's pretty exciting. And I'm using it on a regular basis right now. The teaching in this book is really good. It's especially in Swagger. I think Swagger does a better job of explaining the principles behind what they teach than Rebooting Your Brain, although I got a lot out of Rebooting Your Brain. So anybody else have had a chance to spend any time with that book, that they have anything they'd like to share? Crickets.
I started listening to it last week when I was doing a long run. So, but it was stuff that you guys have already covered. And yeah, I like it. It's, similar to like psycho-cybernetics, Joe Dispenza, you know, very like what you think about, you know, comes about. I hate saying it that way, but you know, just it's what you focus on, you know, creates different motivations within yourself to go out and do different
Right.
things and different activities that then end up getting you the result, whether it's good or bad. And just making sure that we're aware of the negative kind of self hypnosis that, you know, the things that we think about, you know, day to day, 80% of the thoughts are the same, right? 60,000 thoughts a day, 80% of the day. 80% are the same day to day. So like you got to work really hard to make sure they are positive thoughts.
One of the things I heard on one of the audios was they asked, like, I think we all assume that an affirmation is something we say to ourselves that's really positive and helpful over and over again. But they're like, no, what is an affirmation? And an affirmation is anything you say to yourself over and over again. And it's good or bad, right? So if you beat yourself up about something that you can't do, or you feel like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, and you're like, that's an affirmation. That's something that you've affirmed and you say to yourself over and over again. It behooves all of us to like examine those thoughts and say, well, what is it I'm trying to accomplish? And they talk about the way a doctor becomes a doctor is probably in high school, sometime in high school age, maybe younger. For sure, by the time they get into college, they just decide, I want to be a doctor. And then they do everything they have to do to become one, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the challenges, regardless of the cost. They just like, I'm going to do this. And same thing, like if somebody decides they want to be a lawyer, they just are being a lawyer. So in your business, if there's a production goal, like I want to be a $30 million producer, I want to be a $50 million producer, a $75 million producer. If that's what you want to do, all you have to do is like, I'm doing that. I'm just going to do that. And like, I'm going to do that. Like somebody makes the decision, just like if your kid came to you, Jay, and said, Dad, I think I want to grow up to be a doctor. You're like, sweet, dude. Well, if you did that, if you came to me and said, dude, Dave, I want to be a $75 million producer. And I was like, Jay, I don't think you can be a $75 million producer. It'd be like, oh, I can't? Like, nah, that's hard. I don't know if you can do that. But that's the kind of shit we say to ourselves, right? All the time. And that's what you got to be on guard about. So you think about what an affirmation really is. It's just whatever you tell yourself over and over again. I know Giuseppe's been the top producer here forever. And I think I've heard this from lots of people over the years, like going, man, I don't know if I could ever do what he does. Like, okay, well, not with that attitude, not with that mindset.
Hey,
right?
I've given him a couple months, but maybe like 2 or so.
Yeah. And so, but the attitude has got to be like, I'm going to be the top producer. I want to be the top producer in Colorado, or whatever you decide is that thing. Then that's what once you've made that decision, but if you never make that decision, it's never going to happen. So whatever your decision is, and I don't think everybody should, I really don't believe everybody should have a goal of doing 100 million. It's like whatever success is to you is what's important. Success is like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder, right? So whatever your definition of success is what's important. And that's what's important for you to know and understand so that you can pursue your goals and your dreams and think about it in those terms. But really examining what we say to ourselves over and over again, because it's been a tough year, man. It's been a tough year. This is the toughest year I've had in the mortgage business. From the time we bought out VIP, everything that we've experienced, you saw that list yesterday. Every time and you know, we forgot about QC and we forgot about, file audit. We just like all this call reports, and it's just like, there's so much stuff that I've like been doing. It's overwhelming. And so it's easy to get negative when things aren't going well. It's really easy to get negative. And I'm kept to myself on this. So I know that if you're having challenges, it's easy to go dark, and you've got to remember what it is you're really trying for, and that you've already made the decision to do something, then you're just on the path to do it. And you can. So I'm looking forward to being able to share those audios with you guys as soon as I can. I'll get them out there and then let you guys start listening to them. You'll really like them. But that's it. I got nothing else. Anybody have anything else? Right on. Let's have a great day and have a great rest of your week, guys. Thank you.